Chapter 1. The High Queen walked toward the lobby with a sense of trepidation. She normally required that visitors be brought to her, but in this case, Sorcha would make an exception. Having Bananak roaming the hotel was far too dangerous. In the past few months, Sorcha had moved the High Court to the edge of the mortal world, taking over a city block and remaking it as her own. Stepping within that block meant one left the mortal realm and entered the edge of fairy. Her domain stood separated, divided from all else. The rules of the mortal world, their sense of time and place, their laws of nature, were all moot within fairy, even in this space between where she'd brought her court. It was the closest to the mortal's realm Sorcha had taken her court in centuries, but now that the other courts were shifting, Sorcha couldn't stay quite so far removed. Her being in the mortal realm too long was untenable, but living at the edge of mortality wouldn't alter their world. It was the reasonable path. The boy king was enthroned with his centuries-missing queen in the summer court. His beloved was holding the winter throne, and Neil, Sorcha's almost temptation, had taken the dark court throne. None of it was unexpected, but all had changed in barely a blink. She ran her hand along the stair rail, touching the smooth wood, cherishing the reminder of simpler times, and promptly dismissed the lie of nostalgia. She'd held her court for longer than memory. She was the High Queen. Hers was the unchanging, the heart of fairy, the voice of the world removed, and she was the unchanging queen. The alternative, her antithesis, her twin, Bananak, stood in the room. She swayed toward Sorcha with a slightly mad look in her eyes. Every stray thought of chaos and discord that could have been Sorcha's found its way to Bananak's spirit instead. As long as Bananak existed to host those feelings, Sorcha was mostly spared the burden of such unpleasantness. It made for an awkward bond.
"It's been a while,"
Bananak said. Her movements were tentative, hands glancing over surfaces as if she needed to familiarize herself with the world, as if the tactile experience would anchor her to reality.
"Since we've spoken, it's been a while."
Sorcha wasn't sure if these were questions or statements. Bananak's grasp on reality was tenuous on her best days. "It is never as long as I'd like." Sorcha motioned for her sister to take a seat. Bananak lowered herself to a floral divan. She shook her head, unsettling the long feathers that spilled down her back like mortal hair.
"Nor I. I dislike you."
The bluntness was off-putting, but war wasn't concerned with delicacy. And Bananak was the essence of war and violence, carrion and chaos, blood and mayhem. The Dark Court might be Sorcha's opposing court, but it was Bananak who was her true opposition. The raven-headed fairy was neither contained by the court nor divided from it. She was too primal to be within the Dark Court, too conniving to be without it.